Weight loss is one of the hardest problems to deal with in life. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. You know, we eat every day. We are constantly in contact with food in social situations, in work situations, and it's a very emotional thing, eating. You know, it's not as simple as just eating to a plan, or when it comes to dieting, it's just because the plan's there doesn't mean I want to have that. We're drawn to certain foods that we're just obsessed with and want to keep having, and this is why it's not simple. It's not just a simple diet plan that we can follow. If it were that simple, everyone would have lost weight. And I know this problem intimately. You know, I've been there. I've been very overweight. I was 30 kilos overweight. I lost that. And I've had spent the last 20 years keeping that off. And then helping as many people as I possibly can to do the same. Over the course of 20 years and beyond, and I know it will be, it will be a persistent problem. It's something that comes up over and over because our lives aren't the same. You know, so how we interact with food isn't going to be the same. It's not just like alcohol or drugs use or whatever it is, because once you've put that down, that's it. You can leave it there. But with food, we have to constantly interact with it. Family dinners and going to parties and going to these things, we can't stay away from those things. We need to be able to live with those things and be able to operate in those environments. So, and like I said, it's not just a physical thing of a plan. It's about understanding our emotions around it and about understanding what we need to do to get on top of that. So this is where coaching is really powerful, right? We're not going to give you a plan of this is what you're going to do, ABC, this is how you're going to eat. You already know what to do. Most people who've tried to lose weight before, we know eat less, move more, right? But it's about motivating yourself to do that, or getting plugged into your reasons. Why do you want this? How's it going to change your life? What's this going to do for you? And then get into it in a way that you're not going to want to quit. Yeah, when you try and do too much, you end up doing nothing. And then being plugged into your motivation constantly, plugged into the why for what you're doing. Right? Because if you have a strong why, you can get through anyhow. These are some of the things we go through, but it's going to be addressing the problem at the level it needs to be addressed. So that's in coaching. We find out where is it, where's the biggest leverage point, what's going to move the needle here, what's going to get you into action, and what can you consistently do? Because it's no good that you do something for a little bit, and then you become overwhelmed and then you stop doing everything, right? We need to find something that's going to be able to stick and going to be able to do and continue to do. And then as your life changes, the plan changes, and we reassess what's going to work for you here, right? Because we constantly get derailed in life. You get sick, you go on holidays, you have some busy time at work, something like this happens, and life disrupts your goals and your mission. And how do you get plugged back in? That's really the most important thing, plugging back into the mission. Because that's the thing that trips people up the most. And when you've got a coach and when you're having that conversation constantly, plugging you back into the mission, that's where you can really get some momentum and some leverage and continue to stay on the path. But when you're sort of just doing some things on your own, the slightest thing derails you. If that makes sense to you, if that sounds like something that really would fit and help you along your journey, then click down below and let's get started today.